of I can't do something. I don't hurt, I just can't do it. Does that
Right.
does that start lending some direction in your mind as to location, where's this coming from, or the nature of the problem, the classification, or the tissue involved, or does it not?
Well, I think so. And I think my thought has evolved probably more slowly than it should have over years. In that, when you hear somebody talking about a motor control issue, which this ultimately turns out to be, and I always go, well, it's got to be the spine. It's got to be the spine. It's got to be the spine. And I think now I certainly recognize that many times it is spinal in origin. But I see people with documented extremity problems that demonstrate disruption in motor control and talk about, weakness, and the leg doesn't feel still or stable. So, and I'm the last guy to explain how that can happen. That's for the scientists. But I certainly hear people describe it. We've all heard people with a cervical problem say, my neck feels heavy. And, 20 or 30 years ago, in my ignorance, I used to think, oh, this person's crazy. Or I'd hear people say, it clicks, it pops, it makes noise. And I would think, no, it always made noise. You just never noticed it before. And I now know that that's so terribly wrong, and really speaks to my lack of information or education at that point. When a joint, with its congruency as it moves through motion, if you don't have good motor control, of course the joint's going to make noises because that dynamic congruency is lost. We know that people with low back pain have decreased lumbar extensor strength. People with long-term neck problems have decreased strength in their deep neck flexors. So when people talk about these things, I've certainly come to the realization, again, probably too late, these things are real. And the question is, can they be changed quickly? And I think in many, many cases they can. But as always, it's finding the source. And whilst I think that the majority being anything over 51%, I'm not saying it's 51 or 52, I think more often than not it is spine. But I also think the same thing can happen from an extremity problem as well.
Month after month, new guest experts sharing actual patient cases and subscribers sharing their own challenging and interesting cases. Check out Case Conversations at mechanicalcareforum.com.